of Thursday, 12th March 2026 are a true reflection of the activities of that day. I so move. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Eyina Abaribe Hakon, could you please second the motion for the adoption of the rules and proceedings?
Thank you, Mr. President. Eyina Abaribe, representing Abia South. I second the motion as ably moved by my dear colleague.
Thank you very much. Those in favor of the motion for the adoption of rules and proceedings of our last sitting, moved by Senator Joel Thomas, and seconded by Senator Abaribe Eyina, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The rules and proceedings of Thursday, the 12th day of March 2026 is hereby adopted. Announcement. Distinguished colleagues, I wish to invite you all to celebrate with the following distinguished senators who were born the month of February and march for cake cutting ceremony, which will take place later after today's sitting. The celebration will take place after plenary session in the office of the President of the Senate. We have number one, Senator Uwachu Emmanuel, 1st February. Ipisagba Emmanuel Olajide, Senator, 2nd February. Senator Benson Friday Kumboe, 3rd February. Senator Ungu Osita Ungu, 3rd February. Senator Hussein Babangida Uba, 6th February. Bumai Ibrahim Mohammed, 10th February. Mohammed Tahir Mongono, Senator, Chief Whip, 12th February. Senator Ali Ikera Bilbis, 13th February. Senator Ndubi Zepatik, 24th February. Senator Isa Jibrin, 28th February. Senator Aliyu Magatakadawa Mako Sakinya Masokwato, 1st March. Senator Eyina Hakot Abaribe, 1st March. Senator Abdulhamid Malamadori Ahmed, 3rd March. Senator Kawu Suleiman Abdurrahman, 3rd March. Senator Akintunde Yunus Abiodun, 6th March. Senator Karimi, 25th March. Senator Adeboniri Adeni Ayodele, 27th March. Senator Friday Oluwole Olubi, 29th March. I said earlier, the celebration will take place immediately after plenary in the office of the Senate President. Any petition? No petition? Is it petition? Wait, now we'll come there. Since there's no petition, okay, you say point of order. Let me start with you, then you.
President of the Senate, distinguished colleagues, I am Senator Dickel and the Senator representing Plateau North to raise a point of order for attacks. Yes, for attacks in Plateau Central and Plateau.
Yes, approached me this morning In fact, he approached us yesterday with the Senate President and also repeated that this morning. Irrespective of that, an attack that took place in the Central Zone some few days ago, that he intends to bring that forward to be debated on the floor of the Senate. Is that a view of the Senate that we shall allow him to bring forward the matter for debate? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may proceed. In view of the fact that we have a lot to deal with today, please try to summarize.
Okay.
You don't go the whole hog, reading your motion. Just summarize so that we can deal with it and move forward.
Give it to Oga. President of the Senate, my dear distinguished colleagues, once more, I am Senator Dike Plum. I represent Plateau Central. I am reading this motion brought that recently were affected and co-supported by our leader, distinguished Senator Lalong from Plateau South. Urgent need to upscale security operations in Kanam and just not local government areas of Plateau State. Senate note that Plateau State, known as the home of peace and tourism, gradually lost its once more nature and atmosphere due to incessant crises and attacks by marauding criminals in the last few decades. Though efforts entered Central District in early March, and the attack in Angwan Rukuba area of Jos North local government area in Plateau North Central District on Sunday 29th of March 2026, while many were enjoying their Sunday evenings and many others returning from evening services, scores were killed and many injured. Senate further note that this recent attack appears to be a well-coordinated and well-orchestrated targeting defenseless citizens in a densely populated area bubbling with social, economic, and religious activities on a Sunday evening when citizens are going about their businesses, oblivious of the dangers around them. Further aware that the crisis in Plateau has become very complex because of its economic, ethnic, and religious coloration, with recent attacks having no particular target or reason but pointing towards an act of terrorism. Further aware that the deadly ambush which occurred in Garga, axis in Kanam, local government area, targeted a joint security patrol team operating under the Wase sector, leading to the death of some of the security personnel, including a captain, while others sustained varying degrees of injuries, leaving many to wonder if the attacks are now on security personnel or defenseless citizens, sending a very worrying signal to know that no one is safe. Worried that peace and harmony that was once the hallmark of the state. Plateau people are peace-loving, accommodating, but the wanton attacks and destruction of lives and properties and the deliberate displacement of citizens from their ancestral lands, leading to high rural migration, thereby distorting agricultural activities, is a direct affront on food security in Nigeria. More worried that these crises have created fear in the hearts of the peace-loving people of Plateau State and a feeling of hopelessness, as a former American President Franklin Roosevelt in his inauguration speech in 1933 pointed out, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Fear is an unjust terror which paralyzes needed efforts to convert retreat into an advance. He told this during a time of great uncertainty, aiming to inspire courage and confidence in the face of adversity. This quote is apt for the present worrisome situation in Plateau State, where citizens are living in perpetual fear and incapacitated to carry out any meaningful economic activity with very daring consequences. Cognizant that the primary responsibility of government is the protection of lives and the properties of its citizens, and the provision of an enabling environment for citizens to strive as they go about keep escalating. Hence the need to deploy a strategy of having permanent security presence and taking the war to criminals by locating and disseminating their hideouts, since they are not spirits. Worthy of note also is the fact that one of the challenges faced by the security agencies is inadequate personnel, as the current data shows a ratio of one policeman to 650 citizens, which is in opposition of the recommended United Nations standard. This is evident in other security agencies, including the Army, although the federal government is taking steps in addressing these gaps. It needs to be escalated as a matter of urgency. Further cognizant that these crises have left many homeless and in their need of essential supplies, especially food, medicine, clothing, and shelters. Most of them have also lost their means of livelihood and living in fear of inescapable penury. Although kudos must be given to the Plateau State Governor for taking swift actions by imposing a 48-hour curfew to douse the tension and personally visited the victims of the attack. These actions have brought down succor to the victims, but more needs to be done. Prayer. Senate accordingly resolved to observe a minute of silence on plenary in honor of the victims of the crisis. 2. Send a high-powered delegation led by the uncommon president of the Senate to the crisis areas to condole with the Plateau people and also the victims. 4. Urge the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs to direct its agencies towards the supply of relief materials to affected victims. 5. Urge the Chief of Defense Staff and other security chiefs to establish a permanent joint security operational basis in the affected local government areas due to its volatile nature and to keep the criminal elements at bay. 5. Urge the Nigerian military to deploy intelligence and aerial surveillance by fishing out the hideouts of these criminal elements and across the country and disseminating them completely. Lastly, the federal government through the Police Service Commission and the Ministry of Defense should expedite action in recruiting more personnel into the Nigerian police and the Nigerian military. So I so submit, and thank you for your audience.
Thank you very much. Senator Simon Lalong, could you please second the motion?
Thank you, Mr. President. I, Simon Lalong, representing Plateau South, stand to second the motion, ably by my good friend and my brother, Dicket Plan. Mr. President, I want to ask, what is the effect of our security summit now? Because the same thing is happening everywhere. The same solutions we are adopting. We cannot have a different result unless we go back to the drawing board and look for different ways. In Plateau State, there's a division, a complete division of Nigerian Armed Forces. When I was governor, it happened like that. Just within 50 yards, several people were killed. Nothing happened. Today, it was during the Lent, I won't say the Lent, on Palm Sunday, where people were killed. But before then, there were viral reports of people saying on so day, there will be killings. And on so day, there were killings. What will the security be doing now when events like this happen? Surprisingly, it has even moved into security. Like he said, in his constituency, soldiers were killed, captains, lieutenant colonel were all killed, slaughtered.
You have 1 minute remaining because of time.
Yes, I'm only summarizing and agreeing in total with everything said by the Cape Plan, but also to say we must hasten this security summit if it will yield any result. Otherwise, the killings will continue.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Senator Palm, you have the floor. Senator Palm.
What happened in Plateau, in Jos in particular, is something that directly affected me. I cannot sleep because of phone calls. These attacks are far too many and have resulted in the tragic loss of numerous lives, displacement of thousands of residents, destruction of property, and severe disruption of economic activities and related business activities in the affected communities. Eight, we speak and we talk and there is nothing happening. It is more devastating for somebody to have, or some people will say they will do an attack and they did it, and the annoying part of it, they will come with machines that look like that of the soldiers and they will vanish. You can't see them. They will go somewhere else jubilating that they have done the best, yet no arrest has been made. Sir, my distinguished colleagues, the frequency at which these people arrive is worrisome. And what are we going to do about it? We are admonishing that a sincere and a heavy approach to this type of wickedness should.
Thank you. Your time is up. 1 minute. Thank you, Senator Danduze. Give 1 minute contribution and then we go to the prayers.
Thank you, Mr. President, my respected colleagues. I stand on this very unfortunate situation. Organized syndicate who came from far away to destabilize this great nation. As lawmakers, we need to do more in terms of making sure that our securities are adequately coordinated in terms of intelligence gathering and in terms of supporting them to use modern equipment to ensure peace and security of this country. It happens recently in my senatorial district. During fasting, carelessly they went in Nandime local government, they killed about 18 people. And most of these people are ISWAP and they are operating in Africa. And these people are trained professionals to kill and maim people throughout Africa. It's not only in Nigeria. So government is doing enough to ensure that peace and security, no government, no responsible government will allow people to be killed. But what is important, Mr. President, my respected colleagues, there is need to have a synergy in all the security agencies we have to avert this very unfortunate situation. And there is need also, anybody that is found, there is no need of this in Borno. We are losing a lot of men and
it should be done according to law.
So, Mr. President, I suggest that this unfortunate situation need to have a commit. These people, there is no need for any civil society organization to say that these people will be allowed to be jailed for life. What are you going to jail them for life? They will only train innocent people in the prison so that they will come out and become criminals. So as lawmakers, we have to take a speedy law to ensure that these people are committed to death penalty. Thank you, Mr.
Victim of the crisis. Those in support of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2. Direct the Inspector General of Police to commence investigations and bring the culprits to face the full wrath of the law. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Send the high power delegation led by the incumbent President of the Senate to the crisis areas to condole with the Plateau people and the victims. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Urge the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs to direct its agencies towards the supply of relief materials identified above. Those in favor of the prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Urge the Chief of Defense Staff and other security chiefs to establish a permanent joint security operational base in the affected local government areas due to its volatile nature and to keep the criminal elements at bay. Those in favor of this prayer say elements across the country and decimating them completely. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 7. The federal government through the Police Service Commission and the Ministry of Defense to expedite action in recruiting more personnel into the Nigerian Police Force and the Nigerian Army. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Nobody is saying aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. May we please stand to observe 1 minute silence in accordance with the adopted prayer 1. May the souls of those who lost their lives, the tragic attack that took place in Angwan Rukuba, area of just North local government area in Plateau State, in Plateau North Senatorial District on Sunday, 29th day of March 2026, rest in perfect peace.
SP and all these people.
Thank you, Mr. President, the esteemed colleagues. I want to come under Order 42, personal explanation.
You can go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. President of the Senate, my very distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Kamarudin Olalere Oyewumi. I represent the wonderful people of Osun West Central District and Osun State. Mr. President, I want to bring to the notice of this Senate that there is a very devastating rainfall that brought havoc to Osogbo town, the capital of Osun State, on Saturday 28 March 2026, which claimed 2 lives and destroyed properties worth several millions of naira. It's safe to note that there's a strong, very devastating rainstorm that wreaked havoc in Osun town, in Osogbo, the capital of Osun State, on Saturday 28 March 2026 during a very heavy rain which destroyed several houses, markets, stores, and very vital public facilities. Also note that the rainstorm damaged several million worth of properties, goods, and amenities. The government of Osun State has swung into action immediately to ameliorate the suffering of the affected communities. The purpose of this motion is captured in the prayer, that is to the Senate to call on NEMA and other relevant agencies to complement the effort of the state government by providing necessary materials and relief packages to the affected people of this community to alleviate the effect of this monumental loss. Thank you very much, Mr. President and colleagues.
Thank you very much. this is a personal explanation, doesn't need any debate, and no prayer is allowed to be taken in personal explanation. We do hope that those who lost their belongings and those who got injured or lost their lives, those who lost their belongings, we pray that may God give them a means of recovering those items in one way or the other. And those who got injured, who might have got injured, may God make them recover expeditiously. And if there's anyone that lost his life, may their soul rest in perfect peace. Well done. Senator Odende.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Emmanuel Mengo Odende. My point of order is on the urgent need for this Senate to give effect. Now it will be late. That's my point of order, sir.
Distinguished colleagues, Senator Odende approached me this morning to request that he be allowed to bring forward the motion that he has just summarized. Is it your view, is it the view of the Senate that I should allow him to take on to bring forward the motion? Those in favor say aye. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. We can move forward.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Emmanuel Menga Odende. I represent the very good people of Benue,
The same motion.
North East. My motion is on the approval of this Senate Court of Appeal judgment restoring 2 senatorial constituencies in Benue, Northeast. A need for independent electoral commission to implement the judgment in line with the constitutional and legal mandate. Note that independent electoral commission, INEC, is established under section 153F of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, and empowered under the 10th schedule, part 1, paragraph 15, to organize and undertake supervisory election into elective offices provided in the Constitution. And with some has not been appealed, restore the recognized state constituencies in Benue State. Cognizance that the constituencies relevant to this motion restored by the judgment of Okumwan Afia State Constituency and Konshisha 2 Shangete State Constituency. I praise that the Court of Appeal granted all the relief sought, for one of which was that defendant is ordered to conduct elections in Okumwan, that is Afia, in bracket, and Konshisha 2 Shangete constituencies of Benue State into Benue State House Assembly for the coming general election unfailingly, thereby correcting the long-standing anomalies and affirming the constitutional right of the affected communities. Mindful that these constituencies historically existed and functioned during the second, third republics, providing the people with direct legislative representation before the unjust removal in the Fourth Republic without sufficient constitutional justification. Mindful that the removal and merger of this constituency resulting in democratic exclusion, population imbalance, and the representation of the distinct communities within Benue State. Convinced that Ashangete communities possesses distinct democratic, cultural, and economic identities and have made significant contributors to socio-economic development of Benue State. Convinced that the judgment of the Court of Appeal represents a reaffirmation of constitutional supremacy, judicial authority, and democratic rights of the people. Concerned that in democratic institutions, I persuade that prompt compliance is essential to guarantee peace, political stability, and credibility of elections, accordingly resolves to approve the restoration of the two state constituencies in Benue State, namely Ukum 2 Afia and Constitution 2 Shangete, in line with the Court of Appeal judgment in suit number CA/MK/CS/257/2022. Mandate Independent Electoral Commission to immediately and fully comply with the resolution by ensuring the restoration of Ukum 2 and Constitution 2 state constituencies to take effect in the next Benue State House Assembly election after the expiration of the current assembly, in compliance with section 115 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. That section allows by that section is all. Sorry, sir.
Now sit down. Read your motion.
Yes.
Are you done?
As independent, as I know to urgently update its electoral boundaries, voters register, administrative structures, and election planning framework to reflect the restored constituencies ahead of 2027 general election. Seek the concurrence of the House of Representatives for approval in line with section 115 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Titus Zam, can you second the motion and give your
Senatorial district? I rise to support the motion moved by my colleague, distinguished Senator Emmanuel Udende, seeking this House to approve the restoration of the two state assembly seats created earlier but cancelled by the military, and now he's seeking that those two constituencies be restored. And in doing so, I want to also seek the leave of this Senate to also approve the restoration of Boko 2, which was also restored by the same court judgment. Indeed, the court judgment came before this other two, but since they are in the same state and they have the same background, I seek that Boko 2 be restored. In seconding this motion, I so second. Thank you very much. Boko, yes, still. Thank you.
We go to the prayers. Prayer 1. Approve the restoration of the two state constituencies in Benue State, namely Ukum 2 Afia and Konshisha 2 Ishanga TF, in line with the Court of Appeal judgment in suit number CA/MK/CS/257/2022. Those in favor of the motions of the prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Mandate the Independent National Electoral Commission to immediately and fully comply with this resolution by ensuring the restoration of Ukum 1 Afia and Consistence after the expiration of the current assembly, in compliance with section 115 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Mandate the Senate Committee on INEC Electoral Matters to engage INEC, demand a clear implementation timeline, and report compliance with the Senate. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Call on the National Assembly and the executive arm of government to provide NEC with the necessary funding and technical support to carry out the required constituency adjustments. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. And seek the concurrence of the House of Representatives for this approval in line with, with Section 115 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. So it's not carried. Nobody said no aye, no nay. So to nay. I'm sorry. If I had Senator Alero, then the prayer is dead. But I didn't hear very well. Now, okay. Those in favor of the prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Additional prayer, Senator Titus.
I move that we also seek the leave of the Senate to approve the restoration of Boko 2 state constituency and to seek the concurrence of the House of Reps in this regard. Thank you, sir.
It's a conduct.
Because it's the same judgment.
Senator Ademalero.
Thank you by Senator Zam. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion for additional prayer as amended by Senator Titus Zam as seconded by Senator Mama Ademo Alero say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you very much. I did not find time to Senator Plan. Senator Plan? The Leader of the Senate. Order what? Go ahead.
Mr. President, my name is Abamoro. The matter. You have to wait until he takes over. Well, you think I don't know the rules? Why you not take my team?
Leader of the Senate.
President, order, please.
So you have it. Do I announce that you have it? Do I announce? Don't worry. Distinguished colleagues, just a few correspondences before we go into. Ningi, how are you? I've not seen you for a long time. Despite the stress, you look very good. Okay. This is a letter from our colleague addressed to the President of the Senate. It looks like we may continue to receive these correspondences even a day to the election. Notice of decamping. I'm reading from what is here. Notice of decamping from the People's Democratic Party. I wish to notify you and the Senate that I resigned my membership of the People's Democratic Party effective today. The letter is dated 10th of March, but received in my office on the 16th of March. So effective today may also mean the date in which the letter was written. The leader.
Take your seats, please. The Senior Senator Kelvin Chukwu. Senator, now take your seat. The Civil Senator Episagba. The Civil Senator Episagba, take your seat. The Civil Senator Kelvin Chukwu, once again, take your seat. The Civil Senator Medoki, take your seat. The Civil Senator Medoki from Kebbi State, Chairman Senate Committee on Compliance, take your seat.
So, distinguished colleagues, I wish to notify you that the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has remained the cradle of my political career, and the former party, the PDP, my sponsor. But today I have resigned my membership of that party, the PDP, to join and be associated with the All Progressives Congress to continue my political career. Permit me, Mr. President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to express my profound gratitude to the then PDP
for availing me the opportunity to serve the nation and humanity. I am grateful and wish the party well in future if they are able to solve their problems. Please accept, Mr. President of the Senate, the assurance of my eyes. This letter is from the senior Senator Peter Ndakili Jia. The senior Senator Jia. Leader of the Senate, Senator Monguru. Chief Whip, Senator Monguru. Senator Monguru.
Yes. Order, please. Order, please.
But first, please, don't be tired. Step forward and pick your new member, Senator Gia. Senator Gia.
Who becomes now?
Senator Gia.
Huh?
Senator Gia. Go on.
Peter Gia. He has just joined the People's Democratic Party.
Distinguished colleagues, I know that eventually Senator Ningi, take your seat. Don't defect yet. Let me finish with these ones. Conference Committee for the Alvin College of Education Establishment Bill. The chairman will be Senator Monguru, Senator Neda Emaswen, Senator Hussein Babangida, Senator Ezenwa Oyewuchi, Senator Ireti Kingibe, Senator Kakashe Ulawa, Senator Salisu Afolabi, 7 members to work on the conference committee to ensure that everything is harmonized with our colleagues in the House of Representatives and revert to the Senate in the next sitting. I have a letter here, but the writer is not here. So I don't think I should read it. I can't shave his head behind his back. So let me quickly go to the correspondence of Mr. President so that we can rush and go into the main business of the day. Is Senator Wamako around? Is he around? Yeah, he can approach the chair. The President wish colleagues a happy birthday celebrations. He's gone to the House of Representatives to receive the campaigns from Kano. Distinguished colleagues, so I present to the clerk of the Senate for onward presentation to public accounts with soft copies the report of the audited accounts of the Federation for year 2023. Please send this to the public accounts for scrutiny and to revert to the Senate. Distinguished colleagues, these are perilous times. So we must do everything possible to ensure that the Federation breathes. Accordingly, I have a correspondence from Mr. President. This arrived while we were on break. The letter is dated 5th day of March 2026, addressed to both chambers. Request for the approval and resolution of the National Assembly
to establish a structured total return swap external financing program of up to USD $5 billion with First Abu Dhabi Bank to support federal funding and fiscal liquidity management. The purpose of this letter is to request for the approval and resolution of the National Assembly pursuant to the provisions of Section 21, subsection 1 and 27, subsection 1, derivative external financing program from First Abu Dhabi Bank, FAB, of the United Arab Emirates of up to USD $5 billion, which will be made available to the federal government of Nigeria in tranches. Indicative terms and conditions. The Senate may kindly find on table 1 summary of the indicative terms and conditions of the loan proposal from FAB Annex 1 for its kind consideration of the National Assembly and approval. Well, the indicative terms and conditions are herein stated. The amount, indicative pricing, and RNG fee, tenor, collateralization, collateral cover, margining, documentation, termination triggers, use of proceeds. The use of proceeds will include budget implementation, development of key infrastructure projects which are our priority to the administration and the nation, and repayment of relatively more expensive domestic and external debts in the federal government of Nigeria debt portfolio. It would also enable the federal government of Nigeria to meet other urgent financial needs that may be approved from time to time by the President. Impacts on debt stock and debt service. The Senate is invited to note that the proposed loan in the sum of $5 billion will increase the total public debt stock of the federal government of Nigeria, which at the moment stands at $1105 professional and projected debt service of 20.4, in fact 20.5 trillion for 2026 accordingly. In view of this, the loan amount will be drawn down in tranches to spread the impact on debt stock and debt service in a sustainable manner. Based on the foregoing, therefore, I wish to request the Senate to 1. Consider and approve the indicative terms and conditions of the loan proposal of up to $5 billion from the First Abu Dhabi Bank, which includes issuance of Naira-denominated foreign exchange, Naira-denominated federal government of Nigeria securities as collateral for the loan, payment of margining in USD cash, and use of proceeds as presented in paragraphs 2 and 4, and issue its resolution that the federal government of Nigeria should establish a structured total return swap derivative external financing program with First Abu Dhabi Bank of the United Arab Emirates of up to $5 billion, which will be made available to the government in tranches subject to terms and conditions, and that the federal government is authorized to issue the Naira-denominated federal government of Nigeria securities to First Abu Dhabi Bank as collateral for the loan, and then make payments to First Abu Dhabi Bank in USD, USD for margining as and when demanded, as and when demand is met in that regard. A specimen of the resolution, single Senate President, the assurances of my highest regards. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. All the attachments are here. When this letter arrived, we were on break. So I had to quickly inform the chairman of the local and foreign debts, distinguished Senator Wamako, and I said, in case, because of the condition of the Middle East, in case it gets late, they could start working until the Senate finally gets the correspondence and gives them approval before they can submit their report to us. So, distinguished chairman,
once again, I'll refer this to you and hope that you have taken time to go through all the documents attached hereto. And then we'll be happy to receive your report today so that we can, in case we are going on break for the Easter, and also to allow distinguished senators who are going for their conventions. I know that PDP has done its convention, so there may not be another convention for PDP. APC has done its own convention too, but ADC is yet to do its convention. ABGA is yet to do its convention. Then the NDC, the National Democratic Congress of Sayaki Dixon, is yet to do its convention. So we should take these things into cognizance when we are going to, and I do hope also that the chairman of appropriation is ready for us so that we don't keep the wheel of progress of government hanging. So this is referred to the Committee of Local and Foreign Debts to revert to the Senate as soon as its report is ready. But I believe their report is already ready, based on how long I sent this correspondence to you. Another correspondence from Mr. President. Distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio GCN request for dollars UKEF covered loan facility arranged by Citibank. Huh? Oh, 1 billion. Oh, did I say million? Because I'm used to billion. No, I'm used to million, not billion. So USD $1 billion, UKEF covered loan facility arranged by Citibank and the London branch for the rehabilitation of the ports project, Lagos Port Complex and Tinkan Island Port Complex of Nigeria. This is a very good one because it will make Nigeria a more attractive destination for shippers. The purpose of this letter, therefore, is a request for a resolution of the National Asset Covered Loan Facility arranged by Citibank and a London branch and other financial institutions in the sum of $1 billion for the rehabilitation of the ports project covering the reconstruction and rehabilitation of the Lagos Port Complex and the Tinkan Island Port Complex in Nigeria. The rehabilitation of the ports project is a strategic modernization initiative of the federal government of Nigeria through the Nigerian Ports Authority to restore and upgrade two of Nigeria's most vital ports, namely Tinkan Island Port Complex and Lagos Port Complex, Apapa, which have reached critical engineering failure stages and after approximately 50 to 100 years life cycles respectively. The specific objectives of the projects are address critical infrastructure deficiencies accumulated over decades of operations, improve port functionality and operational efficiency, and to meet growing demand, enhance safety standards and align port facilities with global best practices, sustain Nigeria's competitiveness as a maritime hub, and support non-oil trade diversification. Nigeria's maritime industry is a major gateway for international trade, and the two ports collectively handle the majority of Nigeria's seaborne trade and serve as principal goals under the National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan, NIIP-MP. The project concerns the full reconstruction and rehabilitation scope for both the Lagos Port Complex and the Tinkan Island Port Complex, implemented by the Nigerian Port Authority under an engineering, procurement, and construction plus finance EPC plus F. That is a model adopted for suitability and ease of implementation. The modernization is led by Citibank and backed by UK Export Finance, UKEF, with the stated intent to improve functionality, enhance safety, and align the facilities with global best practices. The proposed financing arrangement consists of commercial contract amounts stated herein, facility amount combined with treated as a single project for approval purposes. Facility is indicatively split as follows: Lagos Port Complex 429.7 USD, comprising is 75.1 for a UKEF premium. Tinkan Island Port USD 571.1, comprising USD 496 for commercial 56 million. Okay, the other one is 496 million USD, and this one is 56.5 million USD for the UKEF premium. Tenure and availability: door-to-door tenure up to 14 years, inclusive of an availability period of up to 48 months from execution of documentation. Arranging fee is about 1.1 on the facility amount and payable on the earlier of first drawdown and the first business day following 45 days after execution of the facility agreement. UKEF premium payable upfront equivalent to 1.07% per annum based on a 14-year door-to-door tenure and can be financed into the facility amount. The first drawdown is applied toward payment of 100% of the UKEF premium. Well, the proposal is for the Senate to approve the financing arrangement terms as set out in paragraph 5 above, which have also been approved by the Federal Executive Council as an ECA, covered financing exclusively for port infrastructure development. Based on the foregoing, I wish to request for resolution of the National Assembly to approve the UKEF covered loan facility arranged by Citibank and a London branch and other financial institutions in the sum of up to $1 billion US dollars and then 945 and 55 cents for the rehabilitation of the ports complex, covering the reconstruction and rehabilitation of the Lagos Port Complex and the Tinkan Island Port Complex in Nigeria. A specimen of the resolution required is also annexed hereto. While I look forward to the timely issuance of the resolution of the Senate, please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest regards. The Chairman, Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debts and their members, please, this has been made easy with the attached resolution, which should go from here to them. And this should be treated as if it came yesterday. And it did indeed, it came up on the, okay, Senator Manu. Senator Manu, you are the Vice Chairman. Please, I want this expeditiously treated, because even when I was in the private sector, I was very worried about Tinkan and Apapa. The water breakers, one of them was constructed in 1901. In fact, eventually, by 1959, they had about 3. The first one broke down, the second one was working halfway, and we had only one still intact. The implication is that the current is too swift, and a lot of ships, because of the lead time, prefer to go to Cotonou
to United Kingdom. I was there when this agreement was signed, and I must commend the President for his international foray that is bringing dividends to Nigeria. Results are beginning to show. So I hereby refer this to you to get back to us with the resolution before the close of business today. Take this. Point of orders. Final correspondence from Mr. President, so that we can finish it before we go into point of order. Who is the chairman of appropriation? This letter is dated 30th of March. That means this is from yesterday. To the distinguished Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio Gision, President of the Senate, distinguished Senate President, transmission of proposed adjustments to the 2026 appropriation bill and the associated financing plan. Pursuant to the powers vested in me, this is from the President, by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, and in furtherance of orderly budget execution, fiscal transparency, and the effective implementation of priorities for the consideration of the Senate. The proposed adjustments are intended to achieve three related objectives, namely: 1, seek to regularize identified outstanding legacy capital commitments carried forward from prior appropriation cycles to ensure that the 2026 fiscal program is not unduly burdened by unresolved obligations from previous years. I'll read that again. Minority Leader, why do you think this adjustment is coming? I wanted to be sure that you heard what I was reading. The request by Mr. the 2026 appropriation bill and the associated financing plan. Now, the proposed adjustments are intended to achieve three related objectives, namely: seek to regularize identified outstanding legacy capital commitments carried forward from prior appropriation cycles to ensure that the 2026 fiscal program is not unduly burdened by unresolved obligations from previous years. In other words, in my own interpretation, this will assist to bring all the 2026 appropriation bill before us, so that we don't need to carry more than 4 budgets at the same time. That's my thinking. But the committee will go and interpret this appropriately. 2, provide for a limited number of strategic additions in transport, health, and institutional preparedness considered necessary in line with continuity of governance and national development. 3, align the financing plan of the 2026 budget with the revised expenditure requirement in a manner designed to preserve macro-fiscal stability and minimize crowding out in the domestic credit market. Consequently, the Senate is kindly invited to consider the regularization of outstanding unfunded 5.7 trillion capital obligations arising from the 2025 Appropriation, Repeal and Enactment Act within the 2026 Appropriation Bill, and 2 trillion capital supplementation for priority capital projects distributed across multiple sectors and locations nationwide.
which were omitted as the outstanding obligations are unlikely to be implemented before the expiration of the 2025 capital budget implementation window. In addition, provision is proposed for billion under the Ministry of Finance Incorporated, the framework for the presidential legacy light rail projects in Lagos, Kano, Kaduna, and Ogun states, including feasibility studies for the Enugu-Maiduguri urban light rail projects and for the narrow gauge railway network. B, provision of 8.6 billion to undertake detailed feasibility studies for the Calabar-Maiduguri corridor traversing the North Central Zone and the Maiduguri-Sokoto Superhighway under the Tinubu National Beltway Initiative. C, an additional USD 344 billion, equivalent to approximately 482.7 billion for priority health, an additional USD 344.8 million dollars, equivalent to approximately 482 billion for priority health sector interventions linked to existing bilateral understandings and implementation commitments. D, a further provision of 98.5 billion naira for the Court of Appeal and 36.7 billion for the Supreme Court to support adjudicatory processes and activities within the architecture of the pre- and post-2027 general elections. For the reinstatement of the budget ceiling of the judiciary, with considerations for the prospective appointment of additional justices of the Court of Appeal and other judges. 5, on the basis of the presently quantified items, the identified gross adjustment to the 2026 appropriation bill is approximately 9.0 trillion, comprising 7.7 trillion naira in legacy capital regularization and 1.3 trillion in additional strategic provisions. To support these adjustments, the accompanying financing plan proposes an equivalent consequential financing adjustment which includes external financing instruments. The approach is considered more prudent in the present circumstances given the need to moderate pressure on domestic interest rates, preserve private sector access to credit, and align funding sources more appropriately with capital-intensive, import-dependent expenditure items. The Senate may also note that these proposals are consistent with the administration's commitment to restore budget discipline by ensuring that current year fiscal resources are applied as much as practicable to current year budget execution and approval of these proposed adjustments by the Senate. Please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest consideration. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The aggregate financing schedule is attached. Well, this is referred to the Committee on Appropriation to act accordingly whilst bringing back or whilst bringing the 2026 appropriation bill to the Senate. And Maybe the chairman of preparation, we are referring this to your committee. It's not normal for you to comment at this stage, but if you wish to give more highlight because of the nature of it, particularly because National Assembly was not mentioned, you may say something. Yes, say something.
Thank you, Mr. President, very distinguished colleague Adiola Lamiloko. Mr. President, I would like to expatiate further on this letter at the point of presentation of my report to the Senate with this document, which as a result of the holiday that the Senate and the House of Reps, we have to work on the document while the letter was transmitted by the President to the leadership of both chambers. So I will expatiate further when presenting the report to the Senate.
Point of order.
Just a minute.
Distinguished Senator Juma Ibrahim, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary. Senate is waiting for you.
I'm getting information from the Secretary General of United Nations. Just send letter. Lead out the Senate.
Mr. President,
sorry, leader, I have a letter from Senator Wadada here, but he's not here. So I won't read it again. Should I read it? In case he has changed his mind.
well, Mr. President, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I actually rose on a point of order, which is order 39 of our rules. Mr. President, you have read a number of correspondence from Mr. President. Please. You have read a number of letters from Mr. President that need to be taken on the floor of the Senate as well as the House of Representatives today. When these letters came as correspondence from Mr. President, we were on vacation, especially with respect to the loan, as the leader of the Senate. And in presenting the correspondence to also say that the need to be treated timelessly as a matter of urgent public interest. Let me put it that way. For the avoidance of doubt, Mr. President, and for the understanding also of members of public who
will need to, who may not understand why you will read a correspondence today, and the committee will have to lay a report in that regard. I read, if I have your permission, Order 39 of our rules. The messages from the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. 39 sub 1 says the President of the Senate shall, immediately after prayers or as soon as any new senator-elect has taken the oath and affirmation of allegiance, read to the Senate any message addressed to the Senate by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Order 39 sub 2, which is what is relevant here, says a message from the President, if presented by the leader of the Senate, may be brought up at any time before the commencement or at the close of public business, and shall be...
You are saying that a message from the President could be brought forward at any time.
Yes.
During the proceedings.
Yes.
And when such message comes,
Yes.
such could be considered forthwith.
Forthwith.
That is instantaneously.
Yes, sir.
And in the current balance, real time.
Real time. Yes, sir.
Or on a future date.
Yes, sir.
But that's what I directed. I said we should consider it immediately.
Yes, sir. But it's important that we know that our rules allow us to do this.
No, I couldn't have directed that we do it immediately if I wrote it up.
I'm making the job also easier for you. Order 39.1 states your role. Order 39.2 sub 2 states my own role as the leader of the Senate in presenting that these matters be dealt with forthwith. And having said that, let me also add to my motion that the Senate do now at this time proceed to a closed-door session to enable us deal with all of these matters and discuss so that we can come back and have a further consideration.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the Senate resolves into a closed-door session to consider this matter of urgent national importance. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, just to point out that at any time the Senate President makes a ruling from the chair, any senator has a right to challenge so that we can explain it for the benefit of the public. So I want to thank the leader of the Senate for bringing this to the fore. I'm mindful of the rules. In fact, the rule says that I'm the only one to interpret the rules. So yeah, it's very well guided. Motion moved and seconded. Those in support that we're going to close session say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. We have a brief closed session.